He's here in the studio as we wrap up Sunday number 3 of the NFL season. And why don't we begin with the Chargers and Chiefs game, because this is for the first time in some time that we see Kansas City at the bottom of the AFC West with a 1-2 record. And I'm just wondering, on the field, is there anything you're seeing that has you concerned at this point, Tony?
I'll give you 3 words, Mike. Super Bowl hangover.
Really?
Okay, the Super Bowl losers tend to struggle for whatever reason. I don't know why. We're seeing uncharacteristic mistakes, sloppiness from Kansas City. They're still explosive. They still have weapons, but they played very bad football the first 3 weeks. They're lucky to have one win against Cleveland.
I just see a completely different defensive philosophy that teams are using to defend them now. And maybe it's a page out of the Tampa Bay Bucks book from the Super Bowl, which was pressure with 4 and then play coverage. Do not allow them to throw balls over the top and make the big plays that they're used to making. Make them earn it. And what you're seeing is them turning the ball over and just not being patient enough to make these drives methodically.
I'd love to ask you about that, Drew, because when they showed the NFL films look back at the Super Bowl, Todd Bowles, the Tampa Bay defensive coordinator, comes in and says, we're going to play those 2 safeties in the Super Bowl and frustrate Mahomes and the Chiefs, keep everything in front of them, right?
Right.
Oh, it's a blueprint. It's a blueprint. How frustrating is it for a quarterback to stay patient and just make that 10 plays, 11 plays, get it down the field when you've hit big plays like Mahomes does all the time?
It's frustrating, but also it forces discipline and great execution for you as an offense, because you're going to have to complete that 5-yard route and then that other 4-yard route and you're going to have to convert a lot of third downs in the process. And all it takes is 1 sack or 1 negative play or 1 drop to all of a sudden force a 3rd and long situation where the percentages are now no longer in your favor. So instead of allowing Tyreek Hill to run over the top, which he will, force them to earn it underneath. And also, let's take away Tyreek and Kelsey and see if these other guys can beat you, because thus far they haven't proven that they can.
Well, I would say this. We look at the Baltimore game, and they got 30-plus points, 35 points. They've got the ball. All they have to do is fall on it 3 times and kick a field goal to win the game. Now they've got the ball this week, and the last drive with the ball in their hands, and they don't. Turnovers, fumbles, bad interceptions by Patrick. They're moving the ball. I don't know if this is a blueprint to stop them, but they've got to stop the turnovers.
Mike Florio, why don't we flip this around here a second? Because this win for the Chargers, this is a game that we've seen, and there were missed kicks in this game, as there seemingly always is in Chargers games. This is a game that they have lost over the last couple of years. What do you think this can do for Herbert and company to win one of these games?
You know, I take it back to a Thursday night late in the 2018 season when Patrick Mahomes first came on the scene, and that was a Chargers win with Mike Williams having 7 catches and 2 touchdowns just like today. And we felt different about the Chargers. They were in position to be the 1 seed until they lost to the Ravens on a Saturday night the following weekend. But this is at the beginning of the season, not the end of the season, and the Chargers are in a position now to kind of set the tone if they can carry this forward. And Mike Williams, you know, sharing with me after the game that on the touchdown that put the Chargers ahead, Justin Herbert changed the call that was sent in from the sideline. That's the kind of daring that we need to see as Justin Herbert evolves into one of the great quarterbacks in football, willing to do whatever he thinks needs to be done to win games, and we'll see how they can build on it.
Yeah, to me, I love what the Chargers are doing, and they put themselves in position to be a really good football team. But I'm concerned about the Chiefs. This is 3 weeks in a row we've seen not just up and down football, I've seen bad football from them.
Well, it's not getting any easier for them in their division either, because Denver looks pretty good. We know Oakland and what they're doing offensively. The way Derek Carr's playing. Oh, I'm sorry. The Vegas Raiders. They've got their work cut out for them.
It's hard because the Raiders, they're not Oakland anymore, and the Chargers, they're not San Diego anymore.
Yeah,
it's
like,
we were talking about some overtime wins against the Raiders in years past.
It is nicknames only in the AFC West. That's the way we're going to survive the AFC West this year. So we're pointing towards Tampa Bay and the Sunday night return of Tom Brady on NBC as they take on the New England Patriots. Mike, I want to start with you on the Buccaneers game. If they lose against the Rams, let's not lose for a second the fact that the Rams have to feel really good about their position in the NFC, not just the record unbeaten, but who they beat and how they beat them so far.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's exactly what they thought they were going to get offensively when they landed Matthew Stafford, and we're seeing that maybe it wasn't Stafford, it was the Lions for all those years that he was kind of mired in that inability to have real success. And there's still a long way to go. He's got to stay healthy. We know he's been banged up throughout the course of his career, but it's looked great. It's working. And that Buccaneers defense is a real liability. 24 points should be able to keep you closer than 10. They're giving up too many points, and they're going to have to get that under control quickly.
Yeah, but I really look at this Matthew Stafford acquisition, and you see it bearing fruit now. Tampa is a very tough team to run against. In the past years, the Rams would have success when they ran the ball well, all the play action, the boots that came off it. When they struggled to run, they struggled to win. Today, Matthew Stafford won the game for them throwing the football when they had very little running game.
A couple things. He's got some great weapons with the Rams that he probably hasn't had that stable of weapons ever before. He's got an offensive coach in Sean McVay that from a game plan perspective is going to put him in a great position to succeed. He's going to find ways to get guys open. We saw Cooper Kupp running the triple move route right today. So that, along with a very good defense that's going to give him opportunities, be opportunistic, I think we're just seeing a glimpse of what they can be. I mean, obviously they have had a ton of success already, but it looks impressive.
You talk about weapons. Hey, Deshaun Jackson, you just come in for 3 or 4 plays a game. We'll get you wide open deep a few times, and just when we need you.
And he was open. There were a couple. One Stafford got hit on, one they misconnected, and that third one was the one that really spread the game out. So the Rams are one of the undefeateds in the league. Let's take the other side of this Buccaneers Brady return game against the Patriots, and that is New England. The Patriots and Mac Jones, that's what we continue to watch the development of. Drew, I'll come to you, what you're seeing out of the Alabama rookie quarterback who has good old Tom Brady coming in to be the opponent this coming week.
I'm impressed with his poise and composure. Even at the end of this game, he throws a touchdown to bring it to within one possession, and it's just kind of just a straight face. It wasn't a lot of celebration. Right. But what that told me was I expected to do that, and there's still work to be done, and there's just a poise and a composure to it. And as I watch him in the pocket, and he was under duress today, the Saints defensive line was getting after him. But he was poised, he was composed, he was standing firm in the pocket, his eyes were in the right place. So he didn't look like a rookie quarterback who was frazzled or didn't know where to look with his eyes, lost track of his progression. He seemed to be a guy who was very much in command of what was happening on his side of the ball, around him. I just think he needs more help. He needs guys that are going to be able to get separation and get open and make some plays for him.
And I just don't know where they're going to get those guys from. They can run the ball okay. They can protect okay. There's no separation from the receivers. There's no easy throws for them. So I think I'm with you. They've got to develop some of those weapons, but I don't know where they come from.
James White getting hurt for the Patriots this week. That adds to it. So let's go around the horn here. Michael, I'll start with you. Just your initial thoughts on what this week is going to be like leading up to the Brady return in Foxborough.
Well, it's like I heard Coach Dungee say earlier that when he went back to Tampa Bay, everyone will say all the right things. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It definitely matters. And one thing I know about the way the Patriots regarded Brady when he was there, they would get concerned in situations where he was emotional, that could cause him to get a little off kilter, like the first game after the Deflategate suspension. That kind of emotion for him, they just need to guard against it if you are the team around Tom Brady, and the Patriots are maybe thinking they can exploit some of that emotion come Sunday night.
Tony, can you just share a little bit of what Mike alluded to when you were the Colts coach and then had the opportunity to go back as the Colts coach to Tampa to play your old team, the Buccaneers?
Yeah. I'd been in Tampa 6 years, got let go back a year later, and you tell your team all week, you tell the media, you tell everybody, hey, it's just another game. It's not going to be about me. But it is. Mm-hmm. It is not just another game. You are going to get emotional about it, and your team knows you want to win. We couldn't have played worse. We played terrible for 55 minutes because the guys wanted to win so badly for me.
And then
the last 5 minutes, we exploded.
One of the great comebacks in Monday Night Football and NFL regular season history.
I'm telling you, you're there. You come in the visitors' side of things. You've never been in the visitors' locker room. You're seeing people you haven't seen in years, good friends, but now they're on the other side. And it blows you away. And there's no way to get ready for that.
Just one more question. Did you overwork that week? Did you just really sit there and try to get out of your pattern?
I made a conscious effort to do everything the same. I was saying all the right things, but I wanted to win that game. And my team sensed that, and they did. They came up with a tremendous effort, but it was all I could do not to cry. You don't know what the response is going to be when they announce the starting lineup, and then head coach Tony Dungee, and you're not quite sure how the crowd's going to react. And when they gave me a standing ovation, I was like, I hope I don't cry on the sideline here. I know the cameras are on me. You can't get ready for it.
I thought the guys on the field don't hear the crowd.
No, you do. Trust me, you do.
It's great honesty and perspective. Drew, from a player's standpoint, going into an emotional game and an emotional week, how do you think Tom Brady will be feeling? What's some of the stuff he's going to go through this week?
Well, I was going to draw two parallels. One was when I went back and played the San Diego Chargers at the time.
Correct reference, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. But also the record. He has a chance to break the all-time passing record. So having been in that situation before, I felt like the emotions would be so great on game day if I didn't somehow handle it beforehand. So I truly spent Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday thinking about it, visualizing it, shedding tears over it, so that by the time I got to game day, all that was done and out of the way, and I could focus on football. I could focus on what I needed to do to help my team win and not feel like I had to do too much or that I was worried about the emotions getting the best of me at that time. So put yourself in the moment ahead of time, get it all out of your system so you can go and take care of business.
Did it help when the moment
It absolutely did. It absolutely did. It got me to a place where I felt like, okay, it's just the game that I love, and it's not anything else.
It's interesting, when Brady goes away and wins a Super Bowl somewhere else, the New England fans were torn, but they were still have this incredible loyalty. You know how many kids in New England are named Thomas or Tom because of the Tom Brady impact in that area? That ovation that he gets Sunday night is going to be, I think it's going to be an ovation without a question. I think it's going to be special.
Well, maybe half the stadium will be those Toms. After playing 20 years there.
Yeah.
Now, after the game gets going,
yes,
that's what I want to know, because I've been to New England. Those fans yell some terrible things to the visitors. I want to see what they're going to be yelling at Tom.
But that's the definition of great fans. A massive welcome.
Yep.
We appreciate everything you did, but you're not us right now, so we don't want you to win. But there'll still be some of those. All right, are you ready for the speed round? I am going to start with Mr. Florio because I know he loves to sink his teeth into this. Where's the music? We're getting NFL Films music for speed round? What is happening in there at the end of September? Justin Fields' starting debut, Mike, was blank.
Was not what anyone expected. He played like Andy Dalton. They didn't move him around. They didn't let him run the ball. And maybe now we know why Matt Nagy was so intent on keeping him on the bench and letting him develop more slowly and quietly. And you have to wonder how soon Andy Dalton will be quote-unquote healthy after the performance we saw today.
Well, Mike, I'm going to go with a debacle. And I'm not going to blame it all on Justin Fields. Yes, he may not be ready and he may not do this well, but they didn't do much to help him, Drew.
How about we take an offense and create it around this guy, around his strengths and what he does well. Let's run, let's play action, let's get him outside the pocket. Let's not sit him back there like a sitting duck against some of the best pass rushers in the league and just let him get hit. So I was really disappointed in the game plan and because I didn't feel like they put Justin Fields in a position to succeed. I think that offense needs to look entirely different if he's going to be your guy.
And let me say one thing now. I coached against John Elway in his first game. He completed 2 passes.
Right.
So let's not jump all over this. Justin Fields isn't going to be very good.
No doubt. Drew, I'm coming to you first. The 3-0 Raiders are blank.
Clutch. They're clutch. 2 out of these 3 wins have been in overtime. And in just these back and forth, battle it out matchups and finding a way. And I can't say enough about how Derek Carr is playing. I mean, obviously the quarterback position gets a ton of attention, and you're required to do so much, especially in that offense with Gruden. But you just get the feeling that, man, something's different. I mean, these guys are finding ways to win games. They're not beating themselves. And it's really just a great team effort all the way around.
They're his team. You can watch them and say, that's his team.
And they're doing a great job adjusting. Their second-half stats have been unbelievable.
Yeah.
They're putting up points in the second half, moving the football, and I think that comes back to coaching.
Mike, the 3-0 Raiders are?
They are resilient. We've seen them down double digits in 2 of their 3 victories. They come back and win. And you're right about the Raiders becoming Gruden. I hear Derek Carr talk now, and I think it's Gruden. So, I mean, that's exactly what Gruden wanted. Early on, people thought Derek Carr would not be able to mesh with Gruden.
Yes,
a lot of people around the league thought he would crumble. And Gruden worked it in slowly, and now they're at a point where they're exactly where they need to be.
Anybody here love football? 3 knocks if you're with me. John Gruden. 7 years of my life. Just got to be ready to knock at a moment's notice. 3-0 Raiders play the Chargers in Los Angeles on Monday night. The 3-0 Broncos, Tony, are...
surprising, but they're playing very good football. Teddy Bridgewater has been a breath of fresh air. They've ever since Peyton Manning, they've been looking for quarterback play, and they finally got it.
They have a formula. That defense is healthy, and they are playing well. And they have a quarterback who has moxie, has leadership ability, has a skill set that can get the ball to these young guys, bring guys together, run, create some, outside the pocket, creative type plays because he's that type of player. And I think that was a great pickup for them, and I see them just playing with a lot of confidence right now.
Florio?
Still underrated, even though they're 3-0. A lot of people, and that's good for them, right? They can have a chip on their shoulder. People are saying, well, their 3 victories have come against teams that are combined 0-9. Well, in past years, those teams wouldn't have been 0-9 because they would have beaten the Broncos. So they're winning the games they're supposed to win. It's going to be interesting to see what happens when they come up against a team that they're not supposed to beat and if they can pull that one off.
Yeah, they are, if I can hop into my own game here, they are to be answered on Sunday night. Because they play Baltimore. We'll learn a lot about that. That's a great game next week. They've played the Jaguars, the Jets, and the Giants. Those 3 teams, those are maybe the 3 worst teams in the league right now.
How about their division? Let's just look at their division as they play the Raiders, the Chiefs, the Chargers. My goodness.
I know. The Chiefs are 1-2, Chargers are 2-1. Both the Raiders and Broncos are 3-0. Okay, the 1-2 Steelers. Mike Florio. The 1-2 Steelers are blank.
Teetering on the brink. And I remember in the offseason, it felt like this Frankenstein monster they were trying to put together with the old quarterback, and we'll keep Juju, and we're going to have an 80% turnover on our offensive line. We're going to have a new offense. We're going to have a rookie running back. The offense makes no sense to me, and Ben Roethlisberger is showing every bit of 39, getting closer and closer to 40. You guys had a lot of wear and tear. I said back in March, both player and team are going to regret this come November, and they may already be starting to regret it.
I'm going to say disappointing. No running game, no pass protection, no upfield plays. And my question is, how in the world did they beat Buffalo?
That's right. That's right. Incredible second half, right?
Defense.
Yes.
Defense and special teams.
I feel that defense is what I would think of as a Steeler defense, but the unfortunate part is they don't really have an offense to complement them right now. An offense that doesn't have an identity. I don't know what they're trying to do in the passing game, and they need to have some semblance of balance and taking care of the football to complement what I think is a good physical defense.
They feel simple right now offensively. Let's see what they can cook up the next few weeks. Lastly, Tony, I'll start with you. Justin Tucker's 66-yard game-winning kick was?
Expected. Did any of us really think he was going to miss that field goal?
No. True? No. That was actually a great word. The moment he stepped on the field and you just saw his whole warm-up and everything, I'm like, he is going to make this kick.
Yeah. Mike, you talked to him, right?
Yeah, I mean, I say optical illusion because I thought it was coming back. And so did he. He thought when it hit the crossbar, it was coming back toward the field, and then he realized that it was good, and he said he floated.
And the 65-yarders he tried in pregame warm-ups?
They were just a little bit short. Drew saw that crow step. That crow step made the difference.
I will say that Justin Tucker's 66-yard kick was OTL. Anybody? OTL.
Over the line?
Only the Lions. The Lions who lost 19-17, the same exact score when Tom Dempsey kicked his field goal that was the record for over 4 decades. And on that note, I will fly back to Detroit.
We're done. You with open arms.
Oh, absolutely.